Alright, Shalom Israel, peace Israel, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah, Barak Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Alright, what I just said in the Hebrew was, may the Most High through the name of His Son, bless you. Alright, His Son's name Yahweh Shai. And I also said, bless the Father of lights and bless the Son. Also, I'm making this video, quick lesson real quick. I want to go into the different sects, the different groups that we had in Israel around the time of the Herodian temple. Alright, the Pharisees, Sadducees, the Essenes. Alright, I'm gonna read a little bit about the Zealots and the Sakari, and a little bit about the Epicureans. Alright, my name is Ayasha Maf from the church at Carolina, Truth to Die Camp. Alright, I'm gonna just put this lesson together real quick, try to make it quick as possible and edify some brothers and sisters. Alright, may the Most High bless you for checking out this video also, and I hope you learned something. I'm gonna just jump right in. I got a couple encyclopedias, and I got the Flavius Josephus, and I also, of course, got the Word of the Lord, the 1611 King James Bible. Alright, matter of fact, I'm making this video, alright, for the children of Israel, alright, who are, today they're being called the Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Dominicans, alright, Central Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, Argentinians, Chileans, the countries from Colombia to Uruguay. They're also the children of Israel from the tribe of Asher, and also the Mexicans. Alright, those are the true children of Israel according to the Bible. Those are the real Jews. Alright, now what I'm going into today is mostly going to concern you Negroes, you Haitians, and you West Indians. Alright, you Jamaicans, because we were still living in the land of Israel about the time that these groups were on the scene. Alright, the other 10 tribes, the Latinos and the Native Indians, you know, they had went in and out of captivity and had been scattered abroad over there in the Middle East and over there in parts of Europe, and also most of them had come over here to the Americas about this time. Alright, so with that being said, I'm just going to jump right in and read a little bit on these groups. Like I said, the Pharisees, Sadducees, Essenes, Zealots, Sakari, and Epicureans. I'm going to just jump it off with this scripture right here. This is Matthew 23:1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Alright, Moses was basically our first king and our lawgiver. Alright, he was our legislator. And Yahushua is saying that they sitting in Moses' seat. They were acting as the legislators and the lawgivers at that time. Alright, they was basically running everything they had to do with the temple about that time. But you know, Yahushua came on the scene, who was the Word that became flesh. Alright, who was the Son of the Most High, the first begotten of the dead. And he came on the scene and reproved them time in and time out, because basically they was going off. He's about to say it here. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Alright, he said whatever they bid you to observe, that observe and do, because they were coming out of the scriptures and teaching the right things. But the thing that he was trying to stress to the people at this time is that they weren't doing the right things. Alright, because they were masters at the law or whatever. You know, they could go into the Old Testament and they knew prophecies and whatever, but they wasn't living by the law and doing the right things. Because he goes on to say this: for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the market, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. Alright, so basically he's saying that everything that they was teaching was fine and dandy, because they was coming out of the scriptures, but they wasn't playing the role and leading Israel with a sincere heart. Alright, they wasn't doing it in sincerity. Alright, but they was teaching people the laws or whatever in the scriptures, but they wasn't doing it out the sincere to their heart, and they wasn't putting it to action in their own personal lives. Now, I'm gonna read you this out, the Flavius Josephus. Alright, The reason why I read out of Josephus so much is because there are certain histories that Josephus wrote about that basically his detailed description of the account is the only detailed description that exists. All right. One way to authenticate the book of the Josephus is that philosophers or archaeologists or whatever you want to call them, they couldn't find the tomb of Herod, but it wasn't until they read where the location of it was in the Flavius Josephus, then they went and found it in the same location where Josephus said it was at. All right, so that's one of the things you could use if somebody tells you that you can't really believe what Josephus said. Now, a lot of stuff that he wrote was his own opinion or whatever. But you know, when man is writing, because you know he wasn't a prophet of the Lord, he wasn't prophesied about in the scriptures or nothing. So when somebody's writing, you know, a book or whatever, of course they're gonna get their own opinion. But you know, his opinion is to be, you know, esteemed because he was there and he was our forefather. Like I said, he wasn't ordained a prophet of the Lord because, you know, he's not written about in the scriptures. But you know, he does have a wonderful reference book, and he gives the only detailed accounts of certain things in history, like the life of Herod. He has one of the only detailed accounts of the first Roman Jewish war is what they call it, the siege of 70 AD. He gives one of the only detailed accounts of that also. Now I'm gonna read to you what he writes here in book 18, chapter 1, paragraph 2. The Jews had for a great while 3 sects of philosophy peculiar to themselves: the sect of the Essenes, the sect of the Sadducees, and the third sort of opinions was that of those called Pharisees, of which sects are they, although I have already spoken in the second book of the Jewish war, yet will I a little touch upon them now. Now the Pharisees, they live meanly and despise delicacies in diet, and they follow the conduct of reason. See what I'm saying? And when you're dealing with the scriptures, you got to read the scriptures and understand that the scriptures is law. You can't go into your own mind and your own reason and say, oh, well, this is what I think, or this is what it seems like to me. You got to go by the scriptures, all right? So they was basically dealing with, because when you're dealing with the conduct of reason, you're dealing with the reasonings of men. All right, you're dealing with the reasons of your fleshly brain and your fleshly thoughts. All right, your thoughts are not the thoughts of the Most High. All right, so you got to go by the scriptures no matter how you feel and no matter what you think. It says this about the Pharisees and what that prescribes to them as good for them. See that? So if they didn't think something was good for them out of the scriptures, they just basically, you know, went into their own reasoning and amended, all right, what the word of the Lord said. But it goes on to say this: what that prescribes to them as good for them, they do, and they think they ought earnestly to strive to observe reasons dictates for practice. They also pay respect to such as are in years. Now are they so bold as to contradict them in anything which they have introduced? I'm sorry, it says, nor are they so bold as to contradict them in anything which they have introduced. Talking about the elderly people of their sect. And when they determine that all things are done by fate, they do not take away the freedom from men of acting as they think fit, since their notion is that it has pleased the Most High to make a temperament whereby what he wills is done, but so that the will of men can act virtuously or viciously. They also believe that souls have an immortal vigor in them, and that under the earth there will be rewards or punishments, according as they have lived virtuously or viciously in this life. So you can see a little bit of that heaven and hell doctrine coming into play here. It goes on to say this about the Pharisees: and the latter are to be detained in an everlasting prison, but that the former shall have power to revive and live again, on account of which doctrines they are able greatly to persuade the body of the people. See that? Just like they persuade you with that heaven or go to hell doctrine, all right, the Pharisees could persuade you in the same manner with their thoughts on and philosophies. It says this: and whatsoever they do about divine worship, prayers and sacrifices, they perform them according to their direction, insomuch that the cities gave great attestations to them on account of their entire virtuous conduct, both in the actions